Across every community in America, millions of hardworking people are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't look like you think they do. They may be driving that sharp-looking car next to you on the highway, or she might be sitting next to you in your office. It might be you. They are asset-limited, income-constrained, employed. They are Alice. They earn too much to qualify for public assistance, but not enough to cover the rising costs of housing, childcare, food, healthcare, and transportation. Many work multiple jobs and are still one unexpected expense away from crisis. These aren't strangers. They are our neighbors, our friends, ourselves. At United Way, we believe Alice deserves to be seen, heard, and supported. Because when Alice is stable, our entire community is stronger.
My name is Sandra, and I am Alice. I grew up in subsidized housing in eastern Massachusetts. My home was my mom, my dad, and I was the oldest of 4 kids. My childhood was chaotic. We didn't have always a lot of food. My dad worked a lot of jobs. My mom worked intermittently. She was a stay-at-home mom a lot of the time. My parents were young when they had me, and they didn't always know what they were doing. And because of that, I ended up in foster care when I was 14. I aged out of foster care when I was 19, when I graduated high school, and found out shortly after that I was pregnant. I felt like I didn't have any other option. So to survive, I got married, and I ended up having my daughter shortly after I turned 20. I did not feel prepared to be a mom. I had no real examples of parenting, and by the time I was 24, I had 3 kids under 4 years old. By 25, I had left my marriage due to it being an abusive relationship. I'd been working at the hospital second shift and midnights when we separated, so I needed a different job, and I got a job shortly after we had separated with a doctor. That ended up not working out, and by Christmas of 2003, I was unemployed, and I had 3 young kids. I had applied for assistance through Job and Family Services, and while I was unemployed, was receiving SNAP benefits. I was receiving child care and was able to care for my family while I was not employed. I had applied for many jobs and finally interviewed and got a job at Wood County Committee on Aging, and it paid $10 an hour. I was super excited because that was double minimum wage, and it was the highest earning job I had had so far. And a couple of weeks later, after I started, I found out that I lost all of my benefits for childcare and SNAP benefits due to making too much. But I was barely getting by with having 3 kids and making $10 an hour. I knew that it would be easier in some aspects to quit my job and go to a lower paying job to maintain my benefits. But I really was excited about the job, and it was part of the career I knew I wanted. I was able to find a family friend that agreed to watch my kids and was able to juggle enough stuff to make it work, to continue to work at that job and raise my kids. Things were going really well, and we had been in a house for about 6 years when the rent went up on the house by $300 a month. That was enough to send my budget over the edge, and that was the first time I called 211. I had heard a lot about 211 throughout the years, but I had never used it. So 211 is a 24/7 phone line that you can call to get connected to resources in your area. When I was talking to the person from 211, she asked me a lot of questions to try and figure out what resources I had, and together we came up with a great solution to get me and my family out of this crisis. 4 years after my housing crisis, I ended up working at United Way of Greater Toledo. And in 2019, I was named the director of 211. That was a full circle moment. I love working for United Way 211. I am proud of the work we do, and I'm excited that I get to advocate for people just like me, hardworking, exhausted, and overlooked. Because Alice isn't rare. She's me, and she matters.
If you or someone you know needs connection to resources, call 211 to speak to a community resource advisor. For more information, visit 211nwo.org. Get connected. Get help.